Am I on? I don't know if I'm on or not. I was having trouble getting it's saying it's live, so hopefully, is anybody there? I was trying to turn the camera the other way so that I could have the other view, but it said it's locked in this position, so I guess you're stuck looking at me with this view. Hi, Joseph. Oh, I'm so glad you're loving Roman shorts. Unfortunately, he's getting a lot of negativity with his shorts. You know, he was trying to find a silly way to talk about autism problems, and people were making fun of him and telling him that he's just a whiner and he's a baby and he needs to get over it. And hi, Marina. I was just talking to Joseph. Joseph was saying that he loved Roman's YouTube shorts, and I was just saying that unfortunately Roman's been getting a lot of negativity from them. People are saying that hi, Deb, I'm so glad you're here. Alice, oh my gosh, hi from Georgia. We're in the same time zone, so that's awesome. I was trying to go on a little bit later because I know that there's a lot of people from the West Coast, and you know, this was kind of just a last minute thing. I was looking at my balls of yarn that needed to be unwound. If you watched my video a while back, I took a sweater apart that I didn't like, and unfortunately it was 3-stranded, so I have to figure out a way to undo the 3 strands. I was like, you know, I'm kind of bored. Let's see if anybody's on. I want to talk to my friends. But Joseph was just saying that he was watching my son's YouTube shorts. My son is autistic, and he was doing what he meant as like silly shorts talking about autism problems. Like he would say, when your schedule gets messed up and you're thrown off for the day, autism problems. And people were making fun of him and telling him that basically that his autism was fake and everyone has to deal with problems and grow up. And so I'm glad that I'll tell Roman for you. Roman is at a gaming night with his brother and his dad. They went over to one of my husband's friend's house. They were having like a whole board gaming day, so they're there. Yeah, I do need 2 friends to help me wind. I haven't been brave enough to ask my friends, and I know that if I ask my sons, they'll want some kind of compensation for it, so I've just been kind of doing a little bit at a time myself. I agree, Alice. Alice said people can be so mean. I was so disappointed. He reported a couple of people for bullying, and I know that one was definitely removed. There was one person because on one of Roman's shorts, he talked about when he wanted to go to college, and then somebody commented that college was not for retards. Hi, Kenyatta. So, I don't know. That just really infuriated me that somebody would have the nerve to say that. I'll just recap that. My son is doing shorts just talking about autism, and he's been getting a lot of backlash and people are being nasty to him. But one person in particular, and they took his comment down, but you know, when Roman was saying about, you know, something about college, and the person said that college isn't for retards. Now, Roman is not retarded by far. You know, he is very, very bright. When he was 3 years old, he could already read a clock, so. Hi, Sarah. Sarah said driving and lurking. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know how we got on. Oh, I know what it was. Joseph was asking about Roman's shorts. He said that he loved them. And so, oh my gosh.
I'm not
Hold
sure
on.
I understand.
My other device is talking to me. I'm not sure I understand either. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So I actually didn't come on to talk about that. I just, that's just the first thing that kind of popped up. Roman said that he wants to do a live sometime after school ends. We have school 4 days next week and then the Monday after. So there are allowances that, Alice said there are allowances that can be made in schools for people with learning disabilities. That is so true. I work in the special ed department at our middle school, and Roman does have an IEP, but they're not for educational. He's actually in honors classes. You know, just because you're autistic doesn't mean you have learning difficulties. He just has social difficulties. So, you know, he's in gifted classes. He is doing really well. He wants to be a what is it called? Oh, I can't think of it, but he wants to be that person who figures out for companies like how much their insurance should be and that kind of stuff. I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, he's very, 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 very good at math. As a sophomore next year, he's going to be taking pre-calc and honor statistics. I don't think I ever even got that far in math, so he didn't get his math skills from me. So yeah, I'll have to remind him that he should like let people know ahead of time when he's going to go on. I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with just going on, but he could probably have more people going to see him. Statistics analysis is what Sarah said. Yes, but there was another actuary. That's the name, actuary. That's what he wanted to be. And I know that you have to have a lot of schooling, and then you have to pass a lot of different kinds of, I don't know, certificates and stuff like that. But he just loves it. Marina said, my daughter is in honors and has IEP for support due to her chronic illness. Yeah, I mean, IEPs are not just for educational. They can be, you know, if there's somebody who needs educational support, they can be for that, but they could also be, so like, for example, Roman gets preferential seating just so that he's not in the back corner losing his focus. You know, he gets to sit up front. Trying to think, they make other kinds of accommodations, you know, that he could, if he wanted to, he could eat lunch in the autistic support room. But he doesn't. There have been a group of girls that have been really like nice / tolerant to him since elementary school. And he says he sits with them at lunch, but I have a feeling that he probably sits at the other end of the table and plays on his phone. But to him, he's sitting with them. So, I mean, I just figure as long as he's happy and doesn't feel left out, that'll be good for him. But, yeah. What's everybody up to tonight? Marina says hi to everybody in the chat. Sorry, my throat is so dry. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the weather or Kenyatta is relaxing. Yes, I'll feel more relaxed once my balls of yarn have been sorted out. Deb is working on tanks and tees. Ooh, which pattern are you doing, Deb? Is anybody else doing the tanks and tees too? Hi, Tia. Tia said hi to me and everybody. I'm still working on that tank as well, the cactus and lace one. And It's really pretty. It just takes a while with the single crochet, the extended single crochet. So I think I'm going to be working on that a little longer, but I finally am on the back panel of that one. I love that you're all here. Thank you for coming and visiting. You know, you don't know what to expect when you pop on for a live, and I don't really always have something planned. Last time when I did a live with Sarah, we had some stuff that we were going to talk about, but you know, I didn't really have anything planned out here. I just thought, let's get on and see what happens. Marina said I've been crocheting some hair bandanas with cotton yarn and fixing dinner. Ah, nice. I bet those are comfortable with the cotton yarn. Llamas in Pajamas says hi, and hi to everybody. Deb is doing the raglan style tee, still working on the Wren tee. Okay. That Wren tee, yeah, is gonna, I think it takes a little while to get that one done. Llamas in Pajamas is looking for you, Sarah. I know we still need to plan that bigger live that we talked about when I was on with Sarah. I just, oh, gosh, I feel like I've just been overwhelmed with a lot of stuff lately. I guess the end of the year stuff is just kind of catching up to me, the end of the school year stuff. You know, the school concerts, summer swimming practices starting, and I don't, you guys tell me if I'm just being like a weird mom, but I have two sons that are in marching band, in the high school marching band. They're allowing 8th graders to be in the marching band. So my youngest is going into 8th grade, so he's going into the marching band. And Roman has been in marching band. This coming year will be his 3rd year. And this year they're doing a trip to Disney. And it's expensive, but it's okay. We've been able to manage. And Deb said she made a cereal bowl dishcloth. I saw it. I put it on my community tab if anybody wants to see it. And I live in Pennsylvania, so they have to take an airplane to go down to Disney. And I'm not going with them because for 3 people to go, or even if like me and my husband went for 4 of us, that would be really, really expensive. And we would both have to take off of work for that. So I decided not to be a chaperone. But we had a payment that came due, and it wasn't the money that stressed me out, but every time we have a payment come due, I start getting stressed out that my babies are flying by themselves to Florida. It's not by themselves, it's with the band, but by themselves. And so I start to like panic, and it almost makes everything else in my life a little bit harder. So I don't know. It's probably just like the weird overprotective mom in me that's feeling this way, because I'm sure that they're going to go, they're going to be fine, they're going to love it. My niece and nephew both did the trip several years ago when they were in the band in high school, and they said it was some of the best time of their life. And somebody that I work with, when they came through the same school district and they went on the trip, and they said that was one of the best things they ever did in their life. And I wouldn't ever want to take that away from my boys, you know what I mean? But I'm just kind of like, you know, I get a little bit of almost a anxiety attack when I think of them going. So I don't know. Is that normal, or am I just like overprotective mom mode here? And I think that's why everything has felt so overwhelming the past week, because that just reminded me. Llama, thank you. Llamas in Pajamas, thank you. She said, I think you're behaving like a normal mom. Okay. I don't feel as bad. I don't want to have those feelings. I don't want to be like, you know, panicking that, oh my gosh, the plane's going to crash. They're going to get down there and lose their luggage. They're going to not know what to do. And everything will be fine. Everybody has survived that trip who's done it in the past. I don't know what I'm so sorry, but my throat is really dry. Just have a little apple cinnamon tea, spiced tea. Well, I'm glad everybody can relax and crochet and we can just hang out and chat. I wish these could be more like where everybody could see each other's face. You know, we could have like a community talk. I would just love that. I know so many of you live way too far away for us to ever meet. Let me see what's going on here. However, it would probably be a great growing experience for them, and they will more than likely come back safe with great memories. I agree. And I have to keep telling myself that, because I'm not going to hold them back. And we've paid so much money into this trip already. There's only one more payment left. That it would be ridiculous for me to say, "Oh no, mom's panicking. You can't go." And Deb said, my daughter went to Italy for her class trip. Talk about nervous. Oh my gosh, that would make me nervous too. But I bet she has wonderful memories from that trip. So it was a good thing to let her go. But oh my gosh, yes, that would be. Marina said, Heather, I think it's totally normal. I was nervous when my daughter went to fifth grade camp to the mountains in a big charter bus. I'd be nervous if she was flying anywhere, especially without me. Okay, good. So it sounds like I'm kind of like in normal mom mode. I feel like I haven't really told anybody what I was thinking, you know. So this was the first time I kind of got to talk about it and hear other people's perspectives. But yeah, Roman did that fifth grade camping trip too. I wonder if that's like a kind of a universal thing where they take all the fifth graders camping. My younger one didn't get to go because that was when everything was still shut down from COVID. So he didn't get to experience that. But Roman did, so. Okay, Sarah said I'm not a mom, and I think that sounds like normal mom behavior. Okay, well, I feel a little bit better about that, but I still hate that feeling like, you know, everything kind of stops and I'm just kind of panicking and I can't get out of that mode. Like, you know, what if something happens and I'm not there? You know, like I can fix everything. I really couldn't fix everything anyway. Mama's in pajamas. I went to Finland for 3 months and my mom wanted me to call her every day. I was over 30 and married. Yeah, you're being a normal mom. Oh my gosh. Every day. Wow. Wow. I bet that was quite a trip. You probably have some really good memories from that. Oh, so mom's worry just never goes away, huh? You could be married and in your 30s and they're still worried. So I have that to look forward to, huh? But actually, when I was in high school, I was in the marching band as well. And I took a trip to Disney, but we went by bus. It was almost like, I forget how long the bus ride was, but it was over a day that we were on the bus, and we were supposed to just sleep on the bus. That was a little bit rough, just sitting that long. Marina said it is normal, and your boys can learn from you to feel the fear and do it anyway. And it's okay to be nervous and excited and go through the experiences. Whatever happens, they will learn and grow. I agree with that, and I have been trying really hard to make sure that I don't act strange in front of them. I don't want them to pick up on my fear. I mean, probably because, you know, I'm a human being and, you know, they might pick up a little bit on it, but I'm really trying hard not to have them be nervous or scared. I'm trying to pump it up like, oh, it's so exciting. You're going to have so much fun. I'm just trying to see what else is up there. Oh, Deb's daughter turned out to be quite the globetrotter. Wow. So she went to Italy and then she had the traveling bug bite her, huh? Well, that's good for her. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been like a huge traveler. We've gone on some trips, but I don't know. So, what's the farthest that any of you have traveled? Marina said, I think it's permanent. I'm assuming that you mean the worry for your kids. Oh, that's scary. Indianapolis to Florida, Kenyatta. Okay. Did you go to Disney World? Llamas in pajamas. I went twice, and Finland is wonderful, like Canada, but with a lot of rye bread, saunas, pear flavored things, and people insisting that hot dogs are sausages and the best chocolates I've ever had. Ooh, that sounds delicious. It sounds like it was a really good experience for you then. 2 months is a long time. I mean, I guess when you travel that far. Kenyatta said no, but on my next trip, I'm going to the Harry Potter world. Oh my gosh, I would love to do that, Kenyatta. Deb said my oldest daughter is 47. I still worry about her. Oh no, it's forever. Oh, forever worries. Kenyatta, that's something I would love to do too. Love to go to that Harry Potter world. Um, I don't know if I will, but I hope so. My husband is a big Harry Potter fan too. Maybe when the boys get older and are more on their own, maybe he and I will go together. I wonder if the boys will get to see that when they go on their trip. I don't really know. I didn't get an itinerary yet of everywhere that they're going. The trip is going to be in December, but they make you do payments for the trip in installments over a year. So basically, they had to commit to being in marching bands like a year ago. But they're both really excited. I'm hoping that it'll be a really good experience for them as well as it was for my niece and nephew and for other people who have talked about that trip. So I'm trying to think the furthest I've been. I don't think I've been too far off the East Coast. I went, probably the farthest north would be Niagara Falls. I went to Niagara Falls a couple of times. I love it. I think it's really pretty there. And we popped over. It was when I was younger, and it was a little bit easier to just kind of pop over to Canada. I think they're a little bit more strict about letting people in, but before you would go up to a station and they'd say, basically, who are you? Pop your trunk, and then you can go in. I don't remember it being a big issue trying to get in there. And I have been to Florida too. I've been to I took a cruise to around the Bahama area. I know we hit Mexico and a couple of the islands down there, but it was a cruise, so it wasn't like I went and stayed there. We would spend one day there, one day somewhere else. So that's probably the farthest south I've been. Marina said my parents immigrated from Argentina when my older sister was 11 and I was 2 years old. She's 65 and has not forgotten when she was in high school and they refused to let her go on a choir trip to Hawaii. Yeah. I'm definitely not refusing my kids, especially with all the money that we put into it already. But yeah, I mean, I guess she was a little nervous, but that would have been amazing to take a trip to Hawaii. Yeah, I guess I've been to Indianapolis, Kenyatta. I'll be there this summer too. Maybe we can, find a day to meet up if you're up for that. I'm trying to think. That might be the farthest west that I've been. My husband and I went on our honeymoon to Bermuda. So that's probably the farthest east. So, it hasn't been huge travels on my end, but I think it's cool to hear about everybody else's experiences. If teleportation was a thing and I could like just teleport somewhere without any kind of like long trips or anything like that, I would love to see the pyramids in Egypt. I don't know that I'd really like to travel there, but I would like to see them. Like if I could just pop over there and see them and then pop back home. So Kenyatta said you would have to come to me. I don't drive due to anxiety. Do you live anywhere near the mall that's in Indianapolis? I mean, we could meet there, or I'm I don't know my way around that much, but I could probably also Uber somewhere, or maybe ride one of those scooters if you're right in the city. My husband did that last year. I didn't do that, but he just grabbed one of those scooters. I live in the country, like it is rural where I live. So to me, like going there and just seeing people ride the bikes and dump them on the ground, or riding the scooters and dumping them on the ground, that's a little bit crazy to me, but we don't have that experience here. I couldn't just, like, if I grabbed a scooter and dumped it in the cornfield, nobody would ever find it. So Tia said, don't feel bad. My daughter is married and was in mid-20s and they went to Peru. I bought a prepaid phone card and had her call me every day and send pictures. Oh my gosh. Llamas in Pajamas said, I really want teleportation to be a thing, and androids. Yes, yes, me too. Kenyatta said, I live near Washington Square Mall, Far East. Okay, so there's more than one mall in Indianapolis? I'm just trying to think. We're staying near a mall, but I don't know what the name of the mall is. We're probably a few blocks out from the convention center because we're going to be going to Gen Con at the convention center. Deb said the farthest place I've been was Beirut. Oh my gosh, and I was there before the war, which was 76. Wow. What prompted you to travel there? Tia said she is now in her 40s and we text about every day. She's in Florida and we are in Ohio. That's nice that you're still close and you can text and talk to each other. Kenyatta said you might be in the downtown area. There is a mall down there. That's probably what it is. I think that we're more downtown. If you know where the convention center is, we're just a couple blocks off of that. So yeah, I could find a way to get to you. I mean, it would be kind of dumb to be in Indianapolis and be like, nah, I can't go a few blocks, That would be really fun if you were up for it. I don't want to like force my presence on you or anything. You must visit with me. So, I got a big tangle here, guys. Yeah, I mean, we could do a Things We're Making Thursday video together. Oh, Kenyatta, thank you. She said she would love to meet me. Woohoo! Good, then I wouldn't be like forcing my presence on you then. Ooh, sorry, itchy nose. There is so much pollen out right now. The weather has been really gorgeous here. It's been like in the upper 60s, lower 70s. So we've been just keeping our windows in our house open all the time. But it's kind of disgusting, like all the pollen that gets on everything. It looks like we have yellow dust on everything all the time. I'll dust and then the next day it looks like as if I've never dusted before in my life. And so it's like my nose is itchy all the time. I'm sneezing all the time. I don't know, I didn't look it up, but I'm wondering if we're having a higher pollen count than usual. But I do live in the woods. We have about like 2.5 acres of woods behind, that's in our property. And I wonder if a lot of the trees are just blowing that stuff. So, I don't know, you have to excuse me if I itch my nose or sneeze or something like that. And it's also making me dry and my throat a little raspy. Not sick, just too much pollen. But like I said, we're rural. I didn't grow up rural. I grew up right outside of Philadelphia. Llamas in pajamas. It's the same here in MA. Yellow, greenish coating on everything. I've had the AC on, so it's keeping it from forming a pollen dusting inside. That's probably the smart thing to do, but I don't know. I feel like the air right now is smelling so sweet with all the leaves just coming on the trees, and I don't know. It's a tough balance to go between, like, should I, become inundated with pollen, or should I just close the windows and turn on the AC? I don't know. It just seems silly to spend the money on that when the weather is just so nice. Oh my gosh, Deb. Deb said she was dating a soccer player. That's what took her to Beirut. Wow. Was it for a soccer tournament or was the player from there? How are you rewinding the 3 strands? Here are the 3 strands. I'm just kind of going through and detangling it along the way. I'm just winding it up like this. So here's the 3 strands, and then here's the ball. It's not as big. It started off about this size, so I'll get the 1 done and then I'll still have 1 to do. But I really honestly don't want to give up on this yarn. It's still good yarn, and I can imagine making other stuff with it. So I'll go through the effort just so I'm not losing all that yarn. It was several skeins, so I don't know. Did I ask already? Deb said she was dating a soccer player. That's why she went to Beirut. Was there a tournament there, or was the player actually from Beirut? I'm being nosy. I'm sorry. Let's just kind of sit and chit chat and gossip. So you don't have to answer if you don't want. I'm just being nosy. I'm sorry, I got entangled in my entanglement. Yeah, I wish there was an easier way to untangle this, or I wish that I wouldn't have done it with 3 strands together. And the funny thing is, when I looked at the pattern, I thought, maybe I should just only do this with 1 strand. And I'm like, no, it looks really good on the model, and I think it's going to be okay just to do it the way the pattern calls. But I should have just gone with my gut. They would have been much easier to take apart. Ooh, Michelle is here. Hi, Michelle. We're just like gossiping and chit-chatting and talking about traveling and all of that. Michelle says hi to everyone in the chat. So nothing major. We were talking about the farthest we've traveled. And then I was being really nosy. Somebody said they went to Beirut because of a guy that they were dating, and I was being really nosy. I said, are they from Beirut, or was there a soccer tournament in Beirut or something like that? But then I said, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. I'm just being nosy. I'm also unraveling 3 strands, like, all right, so I made a sweater that required you to hold 3 strands of yarn together. And then after I was done making it, I really hated how it looked on me. So I undid it. But when I undid it, all 3 strands were together. And now I have to figure out how to break them apart. So I'm just like slowly detangling them into 3 separate balls, which is taking a long time, but I figure it's kind of mindless. So we can sit here and gossip. And oh, I wanted to ask you guys, I love listening to podcasts when I'm in the car and I have to go back and forth, travel with everybody. What do you guys like to listen to for podcasts? Because like I feel like I go through the ones that I like way too fast. I'll listen to it the day it comes out, and then like I might have another one come out the next day, but it's not enough. Michelle asked if I couldn't recruit helpers. Well, I felt bad asking my friends to do it because I don't, like last time I got together with my friends, we went and got our toenails done, and I didn't want to bring like a ball of yarn to that. And I feel like if I were to ask my boys, they would require that I gave them some kind of reward for this kind of help. So I don't know. I'm just kind of doing it myself. Besides, I don't know if I want my boys helping me with it because they would get impatient way too fast. I think we'd end up with way more tangles. So Deb said, it was a lot of fun dating him. We were like rock stars, but after the war I had to leave and he had to stay. Aw, that is sad. I'm really sorry to hear that. Like Romeo and Juliet or something like that. Nicole said, or Sarah said, Michelle, my twin. Kenyatta, I have only listened to the Rings of Power podcast. I feel like I started that once because there was one about the Lord of the Rings that I had started. I'm assuming that it's Lord of the Rings, or am I thinking of something else? Michelle says, hey, Sarah. Deb, he was from Beirut. I met him here and then followed him back to his country. We had a great time until the war came. Aw. Good memories, but it's kind of sad that it couldn't last. Oh. The Rings of Power. I'm trying to think. Maybe it wasn't that. There was one about Lord of the Rings that I had started listening to, but it wasn't. Michelle said, I'm not a podcast listener. I'm more of a music jamming, singing out loud kind of girl. Okay. I used to be a little bit more like that. I was before I had kids, and I didn't have kids until I was 35. That's how old I was when I had Roman. Was that my oldest was when I was 35. So I worked from when I graduated college at 22 until I was 35 as a music teacher. I have a bachelor's in music ed and a master's in music therapy. So I did a little bit of both. I did music education, then I did music therapy at a school. And while I was doing that, I did I would play my flute in musicals. I did private lessons. And when when I got pregnant with Roman, I decided to stay home with my kids. And I just kind of realized that I was burned out of music. So I do occasionally listen to music, but I can't say that anymore I'd be like the jamming kind of person, person to jam in the car or anything like that. And I think anymore I just would prefer to listen to stories. So Sarah said, I listen to true crime podcasts and have a couple faves. I should ask you to text me some of your faves. There are some that I listen to. My boys love when I put Bailey Sarian on. she has two podcasts that we listen to. I don't know if she has more than two, but she has one that's called like Lipstick and Murder or something like that. Lipstick, Makeup, and Murder, something like that. My boys think she's hilarious. And then she has another one that she does too. I forget what it is. But they just love when I have her. I mean, I think she's okay, but I'd probably listen to something else. I've kind of ranged. I've listened to, there was one about um, people who were products of men from a sperm bank, like their mom just went to a sperm bank and they ended up finding out that there was some fraud going on. And I think that there were not supposed to be as many children from one man as had happened, and somebody had found out they had like, a ridiculous amount of siblings. And because of, those kind of websites where you can send your DNA in and find people who you're related to, they were finding that there were like 30 plus people that they were biologically siblings to. It was a really, I can't remember the name of the podcast. They haven't put a new one out in a long time, but I really enjoyed that one. I also listened to Zoe Health. They talk about kind of the newest things in medicine, and they talk a lot about menopause and, just not to get too personal, but I've been having a lot of issues with hot flashes and menopause lately, so it's been helpful to hear, things that they say that are helpful, and, different kinds of treatments and stuff like that. Sarah said, I started with Bailey, Murder Mystery Makeup Monday, and Dark History. Oh, yeah. I do Dark History too. I really enjoy Dark History. Gosh, we have the same taste here in podcasts. Deb listens to Pod Save America, very political. Okay. Well, if I put that on, I think Roman would listen. For some reason, he's been really into politics lately, but he doesn't always have the social sense to know that you shouldn't talk to everybody or assume that everybody has the same political view that you do. I worry, and I've told him this before, I worry that he's going to say the wrong thing and make somebody very upset, because he's very strongly, leaning towards one party, and he doesn't really have a filter to know when it's not okay to talk about things. So, oh, good. Sarah said she would text me some of hers later. Oh, I forgot I was talking about the Lord of the Rings one that I had listened to. I think they were, the one I was listening to, they were kind of talking about I don't know, like it wasn't like during the story, it was like maybe stuff that happened before or after the story, and I don't know if they were making this up or if they were putting this together from other writings or anything like that. But it just wasn't, to me, it didn't capture my attention. And I really enjoy the Lord of the Rings story. So, excuse me. It's so quiet in my house right now. I'm actually kind of enjoying it. I don't know if I'd want it to be this quiet all the time, but oh my goodness, sometimes it's just nice to be able to sit and not, have a little bit of peace and quiet. Yeah, our family is like really into board games and stuff like that. Oh, Sarah's taking off. Have a great night. You have a good night too, Sarah. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi. It was kind of a last minute thing. Michelle, you had somebody graduating, if I'm remembering correct. Is that right? Ah, Kenyatta said she's the only one home for the weekend. It's super quiet. Are you enjoying it, or is it a little bit lonely? If I'm not getting too personal to ask that. Everybody has a different take on it. You know, like I said, I think if it was this quiet all the time, it would start feeling a little bit lonely, but it's just kind of peaceful right now. You know, I have my window open, there's a breeze. Oh, congratulations to your daughter. Michelle said her daughter graduated Tuesday. How did that feel to have somebody, have your child graduate? I'm not there yet. Oh, Monday, sorry. She graduated Monday. I don't, losing track of your days. Yeah, me too. Me too. It's just been crazy. Kenyatta says she's enjoying it. She's a loner. Yeah. You know, I feel like that's a little bit easier thing to be when you're older, you know, a loner, you know, you kind of at more, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel a little bit more at peace with myself than I did when I was younger. I don't know if that's a normal thing, like you just kind of grow up and, you know, things change. Oh, Michelle said it was 3 of 3 graduating. I'm becoming an empty nester and I feel lost. Yeah, it's got to be hard going from that nonstop go, 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 go to like, there's nothing. You know, it's not like a slow decline. It's like, because even with one, like, if you have one in several activities, you're still like rush, rush, rush. Michelle said, like, I've lived to raise and teach my kids. Now, what am I supposed to do? It's an emotional roller coaster. I believe that. Like I said, I'm not there yet, but, you know. Kenyatta said, my last child is graduating on June 4th. Oh, you'll be an empty nester then, too. Oh, my gosh. Oh, you already have grandbabies. I think that would be interesting. I don't know. I, I mean, anything is possible, but I just, for some reason, I just can't see my kids having kids. The youngest one is still a little young. He's only 13, but, you know, Roman's 15. I don't know. Aw, Kenyatta said she can stay as long as she wants. That's really nice that you have that kind of relationship with her then. That's awesome. Michelle said, my older kids are not ready to be there yet. They are not ready to be, oh, they are 26 and 23. Okay. There's really no rush, you know. I was 35 when I had my first child. And that's, you know, the doctors were like, oh my gosh, you know, I think they called it a geriatric pregnancy. I'm like, come on, get real. But that didn't make me feel too good, a geriatric pregnancy. Oh, good grief. So I think it's okay not to rush that kind of thing. I do have friends, you know, since I was older when I started having kids, a lot of people that I knew already had kids, you know, and they say like, oh, I can't wait until I'm a grandma, or, you know, it's like they're bugging their kids to have kids. And I'm like, I don't know. Michelle said I was 19 right before 20, I had my first. Okay. I think there might be a typo in there, either that or I'm not reading it right. I have progressive, so I have to like look at the bottom of my glasses. Denise says she has 3 grown and a grandson. Congratulations. Kenyatta, I was 19 also with my first. Babies. I'm just kidding. I know. I was an anomaly being waiting that long. But that's just the way it worked out, you know. I was 31 when I married my husband, and you know, I don't know, I did everything later. I just waited for everything in my life. I wasn't the type of person that would have been ready to have kids when I was that age. You know, I had my focus on other things, on school and my job. You know, I was working as a teacher, and I went back and got my master's degree. That wasn't really something that I had planned out to do, but when I was working as a music therapist at the special ed school, they had a tuition reimbursement plan where if you went back to school, they paid for it 100%. So I was like, you know, that's kind of dumb to be like, oh, no thanks, a free education, no thanks. You know, so I went ahead and did it. You know, I just took like one class a semester, but I got through it. But like I said, I had like different goals when I was younger. I wasn't really settled. I don't think I would have been, like, I'm not judging anybody else. I'm just talking from personal experience. I don't think that me personally would have been ready before we did. So I know plenty of people who are awesome moms, and they started way younger than me. So oh, something about queen. I'm the queen of typos, sorry. Oh, no worries. I was just making sure it wasn't just like, it's slightly blurry when I'm reading it on the screen, because like I said, I have progressive glasses, so the reading part is at the bottom, so I always kind of have to go like this in order to read it, and I'm trying not to do that because that looks really silly. I do have just reading glasses here, and maybe I'll just switch it over, we'll see. So far it's been working out. But I feel bad because I've looked at some of my old videos, and sometimes if I'm trying to see something on the screen, I noticed I've gone like this. I'm like, ew, people are going to think that like I'm making them look up my nose or something weird like that. So if you ever see me looking up like that, that's why. You know, I didn't even need glasses until I was in my 40s. It's just I feel like everything is falling apart lately. I turned 50 on my last birthday, and it's like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm just falling apart. Can't see anymore. I don't know. Michelle said, I have progressive lenses too. I just bought myself a magnifier. My eyes are awful. I'm sorry to hear that, but I can understand that. I have been tempted myself to get a magnifier. I have prescription reading glasses, and I think that helps. And it's tough getting older. Yes, it is. Nobody warns you. Nobody like tells you. But there have been times where I've done like crocheting smaller things, where I've done it like this, like literally, these are my reading glasses. I'll put my reading glasses on, and then I'll put these glasses on over top. And it's almost like a magnifier, but things close to me I can see really well. The only thing is like everything far away is super, super blurry. Kenyatta said, that's a good idea, Michelle. Yeah, it is. Llamas in pajamas. I'm less than a year away from 52. No children diagnosed with PCOS at 17. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I didn't know for sure if I was going to have kids. You know, sometimes Michelle said, best thing I've done. It's okay if those that are like glasses attached to their headband. It makes crocheting way easier. I could see that. I could see that with the magnifiers. But as far llamas in pajamas, as far as, you know, children go, I wouldn't feel bad. I wasn't sure if we would at all or not either. We started trying when I was 33 or 34, somewhere around there, and we had two miscarriages before we had Roman, and it was pretty devastating for me. You know, I didn't expect that. You know, you just think, oh, we're ready to have kids, we're gonna have kids, but you know, there's so much more. And I know it's funny, since I've had talked to people about this, there's so many people who've said that, you know, oh yeah, we've had one too, or we've had two, or whatever. But, you know, after that, I wasn't sure that we would have kids. You know, we didn't know what would happen. But then I got pregnant again and had Roman. Then I got pregnant again and lost that one. And then I got pregnant again and had Odin. And then I was like, tie my tubes, I'm done. By the time I had Odin, I was 37. And I'd been pregnant 5 times in like 3 years. So, you know, you just never know what kind of things life have in store for you. Deb said, I'm hoping for some great grandchildren before too long. My granddaughters are in their mid-20s. Wow. I can't picture myself as a grandmother, let alone a great grandmother, but it is interesting because my mother-in-law, she still seems really young to me. I think she's in her 70s, or she might still be she's either in her late 60s or early 70s, but she has grandchildren from my husband's brother that are married. And so it's weird, like I'll think about, oh, she could be a great grandmother, you know, anytime too. So I don't know, great grandmother. Oh my goodness. Would they still call you the same thing your grandchildren call you, or would you have a special name for that? So Denise said miscarriages are devastating. They really are, and you don't realize until you go through one how it would affect you. You know, the first one was at 13 weeks. So at 12 weeks, we went to the doctor and then told everyone we knew that we were having a baby because we were so excited. And then a week later, we lost it. And it was like the going back and telling everybody, you know, it's just, it was awful. I would never want to relive that or wish it on anybody. So Michelle said, I have PCOS and endometriosis. I was told at 15 I would never have kids, so the fact that I have 3 is crazy. I have had a few miscarriages as well. It's a tough road no matter what way it goes. Yeah, it is true. It's true. You know, you can have a good life. I believe you can have a good life with whatever choices that you make, you know, as far as with kids or with pets or with whatever else. Lama said, I had one miscarriage but never pregnant after that. That's just how it worked out for me. I was okay with either path, so I'm not sad. But I do wonder how the other path would have been sometimes. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you had a miscarriage. But see, like, now that I said that, you guys are telling me, not all of you, but, you know, you're telling me that you've had one too. And it's just crazy how common it is and how devastating it is and how nobody talks about it and how it just, I don't know, how does it affect our society? You know, what if we had better types of ways to deal with this? Denise said, it really is, I had 2 after my first. I'm assuming 2 miscarriages. And that's so hard. I had 2 miscarriages in a row too before I had Roman. And yeah, I feel like I lost 3 and had 2. I feel like that, you know, I had more failures than successes. Oh yeah, Denise said, yeah, 2 miscarriages. I assume that's what you meant. I just didn't want to, I just wanted to clarify, I guess, make sure that I was thinking right. But yeah, I think I wonder, and I don't know if you guys did this too, but I always wondered, were they boys, were they girls? With the first one, um, I had to ask them because they had to do a D&C. Well, two of them they had to do a D&C, one of them they didn't. Um, I think it's called D&C, where they have to remove it because it died within you. I asked, could you find out? And I know they could have, but they were like, "Oh no, we don't do that." I don't know if they thought it would make the grieving process worse, but I'm so angry that they made that decision for me. And maybe it was a price thing too. Maybe they were like, oh, it would be too expensive. Maybe her insurance doesn't cover that or whatever, to find out whether it was a boy or a girl. But I always wondered, I have two boys. Were any of them girls? Would I have had five boys? Obviously I couldn't have because they were all like bang, bang, bang. It really wasn't a problem getting pregnant. It was just keeping the pregnancy that was a problem for us. This got really personal quick. But it's all friends here. I really like that. That's what I was looking for. I was kind of just looking for a flat or friend chat. So Lamas said miscarriages are way more common than we think. It's just that it isn't talked about as being a normal and expected thing during our reproductive lives. Yeah, I agree with that. And, like I said, it's like whenever the subject ever would come up, it's amazing how many people say, "Oh yeah, that happened to me too," or we had one too, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why it's so taboo then. I mean, maybe it's just because it's a sad thing, but I feel like we talk about other sad things in our culture, and it's not like, oh my gosh, let's not talk about that. So I don't really know. I don't know why it's not talked about, other than maybe the sadness factor. But yeah, I think my husband and I were thinking, oh, we'll have like 3 or 4 kids, but after Odin, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I've been pregnant 5 times. That's enough. Michelle said the second miscarriage was the worst. They did a D&C, somehow missed 3 baby. How it happened, I still don't understand, and had to go do a second D&C 2 weeks later. That is awful. I actually have heard other people say that too, where they didn't get the whole thing. I cannot even imagine. Oh, that's really bad. I'm so sorry that happened to you. But I think that is another thing where that happens, and I don't know how they would miss that. Lama said, true, sadness is every bit a part of life as happiness. Yeah, I agree. And I'm trying to think of an example, but I know that there are other sad things that we talk about in our culture that's not taboo. I don't really know. I can't think of anything. When I'm put on the spot, I can usually never think of anything, but I don't know why it wouldn't be something where we could support each other through, or just know that it's a common thing. I wonder if we even know like what percentages of pregnancies end like that. I would be curious. What percentage of pregnancies end in miscarriage? If it's like 50, I'm like, then I don't know if it is 50, but if it was something, 50 or more, it would be like crazy that we wouldn't be more prepared for that kind of thing. I don't know. I am counting down the minutes until school is done. I cannot wait for school to be done. When my youngest went back to school, I tried to find music teaching jobs, but they're really, though I was talking to somebody, one of the teachers at the school I work at, and they had a good point. They said teaching is one of the only professions where it hurts your career to have more education. And it is true, because if you stop being a teacher and you try to get back into it, they're going to hire the person fresh out of school because they don't have to pay them as much. You know, I had all those years of experience plus a master's degree, and nobody wanted to hire me. Every single time that I went for an interview, it was the person right out of school who got the job. So I'm working right now as an aide at the middle school in the district my kids go to. And it's convenient. I have all the same days off as them. I don't have to grade any papers. I don't have to submit grades to anybody. I don't have all that extra work. I don't have to call parents for anything. But it's just kind of, I don't know. Hard to describe. It's not, I guess I like challenges, and it's just not really a challenge, you know, and you kind of get treated like you don't know anything. A lot of the teachers are surprised when they find out that I was a teacher and I have my master's degree. You know, sometimes the way it's like, okay, now when you work with somebody, you have to be like this, you have to do this, you know, can you please do this for me? And it's all fine and dandy. It's just kind of demeaning. I don't know. So Michelle said, I've always been an open book and I don't think anything is taboo. Life happens to everyone. People just need to talk about things more. Holding stuff in is what makes people struggle. And then Lama said, I agree, Michelle. And I agree too. I agree too. That's why I'm always surprised, you know, when things, you know, that are so common are just so taboo. Denise said, I think that's awful. With the experience you've had, they treat you that way. Yeah, the first principal that I worked under, I started at the elementary school, and then they moved me to the middle school because there was an opening there that needed filling. But it wasn't as a teacher, it was just still as an aide. The first principal there, my first year back to work, I was in with the kids and I had strep throat twice that year. Both times I was really sick and had a fever. And I think I missed the whole school year. I missed like 7 days total because of the strep throat. I came in every time that I was well enough to. And you're not supposed to go to school when you have a fever. And the first principal that I worked under, when I went to my evaluation, she said, she put in my evaluation that I missed too many days of work. And she said to me, I felt like I was a child. She said to me, I don't know if I can count you as a reliable employee because you have missed 7 days of school. I said I was sick. And she's like, nonetheless, 7 days is unacceptable. At the most, we would only like you to have 2 sick days. So it made no sense to me. I'm missing a few things here. Okay. God disciple was saying that God's there for you. That's fine too. That's fine. I do think sometimes hearing other people's experiences can help you through as well. So if you felt like we weren't taking that into account, I'm sorry. I was just talking as far as like, you know, here on earth, what your experiences are. So. Yeah, but the whole thing, like that really bothered me. And I'm lucky that I can work this job where it's just I have the summers off and I just work basically the same hours that my kids do. Neither one of my kids drive yet. So if I were to take a different job and work over the summer, it's not that I don't, that I'm against that. It's just that I know that my boys would sit at home and play video games all day if there was no one here to make sure that they were getting to the pool. We don't live within walking or biking distance of our local pool. So I'm lucky I'm in a position where I can have these hours and have the summers off, and my boys can be on the swim team, and I can take them to swim practice every morning, and I could take them to their swim meets in the evening, and I can drive them to the pool in the afternoon so they can hang out with their friends and not be sitting at home all day, just, being on the computer. And if I ever had to, of course, then I would get a job, and they would have to find their own way. But that's the reason why I stay in this position, is because of the schedule that it allows. But it's just not, it's not challenging. And there are times where I'm sitting there and the teacher will have something on the computer for the kids to do. Oh, Kenyatta, it was so nice that you came in and visited. Thank you. Good night. I hope you have a great night. So, we're not allowed to read books. We're not allowed to crochet or do anything in class when we're helping. And when the teacher is doing something where I'm not really needed, I just sit there and kind of like, keep your eyes open, keep your eyes open. So it's not, I don't know. I didn't mean to be complaining about this, but it's not challenging. And I kind of like to challenge myself. And there's nothing that I can do during the day to challenge myself, because I'm not allowed to do anything. We're not allowed to have our phones. We're not allowed to, and which makes sense. If you're there to help a child, you shouldn't be on your phone. I'm not saying that that's a dumb rule, but there's just nothing else that we can do. So it's not my favorite place to be, So anyway, rant over about that. I know we can't always love our jobs. Are any of you working outside of the home? What kind of jobs do you have? Lama said, I think you're making choices to balance your family life, especially in the summer. I know as a kid who loved to go to the pool, those are great memories. No, sometimes a job is just a job. I agree. And that's kind of, I feel sad about that, because I know I'm working with kids, but that's really how I feel about this job. Job is a job. And I do enjoy the kids that I work with, but Michelle, I'm disabled. I'm sorry, Michelle. And here I am complaining. I don't mean to be complaining. I guess it's just my thing that I have to deal with. Oh, I'm a minor, but I'm definitely getting a job soon. I need to have responsibilities. My first job was at Burger King. Even that means struggling, going through a tester trials sometimes. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, my first job was Burger King. I had a love-hate relationship with that job. I worked there all the way from 16 to when I graduated from college. I liked it. Oh, you're under 16, so yeah, they're probably limited as to what kind of job you can get then. Um, but I liked it because a lot of young people work there. So a lot of my friends work there, or a lot of people that work there became my friends if they weren't already my friends. And we used to like have a whole group that would hang out together, and we would try to get the same shifts so that we can get off together and go do stuff. And so that's what made that job a good experience. But again, it's kind of like um, standing at the cash register, frying up French fries. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But I love babysitting. That's awesome. Babysitting's a great thing to do. Michelle said it's okay. I was a cosmetologist before the fall. My hip needed a hip replacement. Surgeon botched it and cut 6 major nerves, including femoral. I'm just grateful I found crochet. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sorry that that happened to you. That's pretty devastating. Wow. Okay, God's disciples said a lot of adolescents and you build each other up by fellowship. Yep, I agree. Lamas said, I can no longer work. Medical things caught up to me, and now I'm disabled, but not officially since I didn't seek that out. So technically, I'm a homemaker. Nothing wrong with that. I did that for several years when my boys were little, and there's lots of things that you can find to do from home. Doing YouTube is a great one. I've been enjoying this so much. I feel like I've met so many great people. This has been a really, really, really awesome experience. Michelle, it was, but I found my new normal. I'm happy with my life, just very limited physically. Well, I'm sorry about your limitations, but I'm glad that you could take that and, still build something and still have a good life. And I know you still have your family and your kids. And I'm assuming your dog, since you have the crocheting dog, Mom. Sorry, my throat is so dry. I feel bad taking all these drinks. Well, I put a dent in this. It's a lot smaller. 4 dogs, look, they keep me company. That's awesome. We don't have any indoor pets, but there are a lot of cats that live out in our woods. So I call them our unofficial pets. We do not feed them or encourage them to come in, but they do sometimes just come and look in our back door just to say hi. They don't come in, but they look in through our back door. Let me tell y'all something. Doesn't matter about like weight, height, or personal things. People outside of you, God loves you. You may be struggling with an image. Okay. Thank you for that. Oh. Llamas, same as Michelle. I miss being able to travel and go on day trips and all the things we used to do. I miss spring cleaning and organizing to the level I used to, but it's just a new normal. Deb said, I've been working from home as a QuickBooks bookkeeper for 25 years, still doing it and crocheting my socks off. Oh, that's awesome. 25 years, so you were doing it before it became popular to work from home. That's awesome. I would love, love, love to work from home. I would really, really love that. I had considered like giving private music lessons online or something like that. The problem with that is the time, because the time that I would be available would be while the kids are at school in the morning, early afternoon, that kind of thing, when the house is quiet. But then once my husband works from home, but once his workday ends and once the kids are home, it would be really hard for me to separate myself and then start my workday. Denise said, "Awesome, Deb. That would be great to work from home." Yeah, I agree with you, Dennis. I'm sorry, Denise. I don't know. I would love to work from home too. I'm sorry I said that. I think it's getting late for me. Well, I'm thinking of wrapping it up. It's 11:05 my time. But it has been so, thank you, Denise. I think I'm just starting to get tired. I spent the morning and early afternoon painting our bathroom. This house is a fairly new house for us. We moved in 2 years ago, this month actually, 2 years ago this month. And it was kind of like a dream house for us. We used to live in a small home and we lived there a long time, like 18 years, to save up a lot of equity and stuff. And then this is kind of like our dream house. And so the house, it's a new house, so there's no paint on the walls. And they told us the first year it's not a good idea to paint because they come back after the first year and fix like nail pops and stuff like that. And if you had painted and they went and fixed stuff that went wrong on your wall, then it might mess up your paint job. So they, when you buy a house, of course it's your house, you could do whatever you want, but they recommended not doing that. So we took their recommendation. But now we've been living here 2 years this month, and so we're starting to paint. It's a lot of work getting all of that done. So yeah, so I spent my morning doing that, morning and early afternoon, and then I came in here and crocheted a little bit, and I thought, hey, let me hang out with some of my friends. I'm really glad that you guys could come and hang out with me today. Thank you so much. I want to do this again. Maybe over the summer will be a little bit easier. I can plan more of these because I won't be working. I still have to do some running around with my boys, but at least it won't be running around and working. So I'm going to say good night. I hope you guys have a good night, and hopefully we can chat again soon. I'm glad you decided to come visit. I'm glad you decided to come visit. Thank you. Glad that would be great. Yeah. So over the summer, we'll have to plan another one. Our last day of school is not this coming Monday, but the next. It's been a lovely time chatting. I hope you make an evening chat again. Good night, Heather. Bye, everyone. Good night and bye. We'll do this again. Good night.